Welcome back to another football show. We are back. We've actually been renewed, believe it or not. Shout out to our presenting sponsor, PointsBet. PointsBet's the only sports book that I use. How can you not watch sports without using PointsBet? It's the best. Thank you for giving us this new studio. The pirate ship has to keep sailing. We don't have all of our pirate mates here. Sam and Phil are always welcome back on the show, but they are a little bit busy and the ball must be talked. So what are we going to do? We're going to talk about some ball today. The program's going to be a bit different. We're not going to talk about every game, just the games that we feel actually matters. I'm not sure how good the audio is going to be. If it's bad, you are fired. We're going to be talking about the Ravens and Bills at the end of the show, so stick around for that. It's going to be a great year. We're going to be more consistent. You might be surprised that we're actually getting an episode on time for week 1. I think in the past couple seasons, the earliest we got episodes that was like week 4 or 5. Completely new program. It's probably going to switch every week. I'm very excited. It's going to be awesome talking ball, explaining my thought processes to everyone. Let's just get into the slate. So Steelers 34, Jets 32. Had the Steelers lost, Mike Tomlin would have had to walk away from this team. It was a revenge match for both quarterbacks. Justin Fields looked incredible. He looked dangerous out there. He was running laps around the Steelers. The Steelers defense didn't really show up that day. Breece Hall went for 100 yards. Nothing. They didn't really have answers, but somehow the Steelers worked their voodoo magic and ended up winning the game. Aaron Rodgers, age 41, still slinging it. I believe he said he was happy to beat everybody associated with the Jets, which is hilarious because it may seem like he dunked on them, but let's not forget he wasted 2 years of their season. He made the Jets sign all of his old buddies. He got their coach fired, their GM fired. He plays victim. I love it. I'm so happy to see Aaron Rodgers do what he did. That was a really good game. Unfortunately, Steelers didn't cover the spread. They were one of my kits pick 'em for Feeding the Bull Show, brought to you by PointsBet as well. Let's move down the line. Commanders 21, Giants 6. Russell Wilson sucks. The Giants O-line seems to never improve. This is 3 years in a row where the Giants haven't scored more than 6 points in a week 1 game. Gee, man. Russell Wilson, he's a legitimate bum. I'm actually so tired of having to watch this guy play. I hate watching Giants games. It makes me sick. At what point are we going to switch things up? How does Dable have a job? Shout out to the Commanders, though. They did a really good job. Jaden Daniels looked great. Even Deebo Samuel was making some plays. And the defense just seemed to have an answer to everything that the Giants threw at them. But, man, I'm just so sick and tired of the Giants. I want to introduce a new segment to the show called When Will Jackson Dart Start? So let's pull up the Giants schedule here. So it's already been announced that the week 2 starter will be Russell Wilson against the Cowboys. Okay, so week 3 is prime time against the Chiefs at home. They wouldn't let Jackson start that game. Jackson Dart start that game. There's just no way. Rookie quarterback prime time going up against the Chiefs, not the environment. The week after is Chargers versus the Giants at home at MetLife. I don't think they would put him in that environment either. Chargers are going to be picking up some steam, probably have a couple wins under their belt by that point. So it's looking like October 5th. That's my prediction. On the road against the Saints, Jackson Dart has to make the start. This seems like a win-win scenario because you go to New Orleans, who is going to be a bottom feeder team. Giants will be too. At this point, their season's probably ended. And so you put Jackson Dart in, let him run around, be a little rugrat, do what he has to do. It'll save Dable's job, unfortunately. If you win, you look like geniuses and you landed on the QB of the future. If you lose, yeah, it's a bad loss. You lost to the Saints. But it's not the end of the world because the excuse is, oh, we got a rookie quarterback. That is like the best excuse any team can have. If you lose a game, oh, rookie quarterback. Doesn't matter. Jackson Dart. He's going to do his thing. It's going to be the Jackson Dart show soon. So yeah, I predict week 5 will be when Jackson Dart starts. It's so painful to watch this Giants team. I think the Chargers-Giants game, though, that's when they could throw Jameis Winston in there. Fuck around, find out, throw a couple darts. Let's go down the line. Colts 33, Dolphins 8. The Dolphins fiasco. What happened on Sunday? It's hard to even explain. Bye-bye Tyreek Hill, by the way. It would be really cool to see him get traded. Teams that would be good for him. I wonder what a connection of him and Patrick Mahomes would look like. I feel like that could, bring you to a Super Bowl and maybe win a couple. Mike McDaniels has to be fired. The downfall of him needs to be studied. This Dolphins team just name one. They're all name, no game. There's too many good guys on the team for them to play like shit. Daniel Jones, I mean, you can kill the dream, but not the idea. Every Daniel Jones-led drive, the Colts scored points, which is something Peyton Manning never did or Andrew Luck never did. Daniel Jones is the truth. This guy legitimately looked insane. Vanilla Vic did his thing. It was super weird to see that the Dolphins didn't score until the fourth quarter. You got an offense that put up 70 plus against the Broncos not too long ago, and now you can't even score until the fourth against the Colts. Tua looked like he was in midseason form, threw a couple interceptions, some really bad interceptions. Not sure what was going there. Credit to the Colts defense, though. They had everybody locked up. I think Tyreek finished with 40 yards with 4 catches or something. The Colts defense, the Colts showed up on Jim Irsay Day. I mean, how can you not? They had the roof open and everything. We really do need to propagate, though, Tyreek Hill trade rumors. My fantasy team cannot suffer anymore from him being in a Dolphins uniform. And I also want to note, it's not too early to say Tyler Warren is the new Brock Bowers. Okay? Let it just think about it. Let it marinate. This guy's a stud. Colts offense looked great. Defense was great. The Colts are a legit contender for the division title now. I think they blew everybody out of the water. Anthony Richardson fans are very, very quiet. Excited to see how they do week 2. Let's go down the line. Jaguars 26, Panthers 10. Duval. Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen. He is such a good coach. This is the guy that created Bucky Irving. So it's no surpriser that the run game out in Jacksonville stomped on the Panthers. ETN had a 71-yard run. He had over 100 yards in the game. Liam Cohen, he knows how to work running backs. We've seen it over and over. The offense was clicking. Trevor Lawrence looked great. He looked so comfortable in the pocket. I will say the connection between him and BTJ, they need to work on that. BTJ is too good of a receiver to not put up good receiver numbers. I think at some point in his career, he will be a top 5 receiver in the league. So they got to work on that. The offense there in Jacksonville is something spectacular. It'll be good to watch them play the Colts at some point. But I'm not surprised by the score. It was a 3.5-point spread, I believe. And they easily covered that. They won by over 10. They won by 16. So, yeah, the Panthers suck. I think everybody kind of bought in onto the Panthers at the end of last season. That never really made sense to me. Bryce Young has yet to show up in an NFL game that matters. It seems like we're calling them America's sweetheart. The Panthers suck. They are so shit. The run defense is horrible. Liam Cohen had all the running backs running over him. Everybody except Tank Bigsby, which a lot of people are really mad about. But, they never had an answer to the Jaguars' offense. Travis Hunter, we now know he's a receiver, not a cornerback. He played 6 snaps on defense, but he was pretty good on the offense. I'm just so bought out of the Panthers that I can't, wrap my head around the game so much because everybody tried to convince me that, no, this is going to be the year. They're actually going to be good. What does that mean when they were saying that for the Panthers? Does that mean, they're a playoff team? They're going to win more than 5 games? Where is the threshold? Because I see a team that has so many holes, a team that's honestly dog shit. They play in a division where they're not going to be top 2. Could be competitive down the line maybe, but Bryce Young has just shown us over and over and over again that he doesn't show up in a game that matters. He finished last. He's riding the coattails off 3 good games ending the season last year when nobody really cared about anything from that. So I'm still bought out on Bryce Young. I got to see more stuff. I believe he's too short to play quarterback. Anyways, let's go to the two better teams in the NFC South. Bucks 23, Falcons 20. Both of these teams are triumphs ahead of the Panthers. Penix looked good, though, I got to say. He passes the dog check when he had that reach for the goal line touchdown. The Falcons' defense is way, way better than recent memory. I think drafting 2 defensive edge rushers in the first round clearly paid off. They had a lot of pressures on Baker, especially in the first half. So Falcons fans, they have a lot to be happy about. It's not a great loss, but defense showed up. Penix wasn't horrible. Bijan had that crazy touchdown to start the game. Then he was quiet for pretty much the rest of it. And also, this game, I think it ended Kirk Cousins' career. I don't think we'll see Kirk Cousins really start for the Falcons. Probably won't start again. If I had to say, he's too expensive. There were some sloppy moments, but there was also some toppy moments. Ibuka, this guy is incredible. He's going to be potentially Offensive Rookie of the Year. Just the tape from week 1, he had 2 touchdowns, over 50 yards. I mean, this guy is a legit stud. Baker Mayfield can make any wide receiver promising. And this isn't even the full roster. Wait till Chris Godwin gets back into the mix. I'm obsessed with this Bucs team. They win a divisional road game. They're a little bit banged up. This team just looks like it's built for January. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I have them as a futures for the Super Bowl, along with a couple other teams. The way it ended is definitely heartbreaking for Falcons fans. Young Ho Koo. I mean, what is wrong with this guy? What's going on with him? It's starting to become a pattern of missing clutch kicks. It's so embarrassing, by the way, when you're missing a kick in a dome. There's no wind. It's just stadium pulse. But you're playing at home. You should be feeling good. And he misses it again. Shout out to Sam for saying that he was going to miss it. I thought he was going to hit it. But you know what? You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Young Ho Koo, you suck. That's all I got to say. The loss is clearly on you. Not actually. But we'll go down the line again. Bengals 17, Browns 16. Wow, this was an ugly, classic AFC North game. Congratulations, by the way, to the Bengals for finally winning a Week 1 game. This might be more impressive than their Super Bowl appearance that they hold so dearly to their hearts. But the Bengals did not look good at all. It makes me so confident when the Ravens play them. But, yeah, they looked horrible. They got the dub, so you can't knock on them too hard. You know, winning Week 1 is more important than losing Week 1. But, I mean, Jamar Chase, he had 2 catches. The O-line couldn't really do much. They didn't hold up nicely. Chase Brown started off hot, and then he cooled down super quickly. It was just one of those dirty AFC North games that is always a classic. The Browns pretty much hand-wrapped, gifted the Bengals the dub. The Browns should have won. They missed the extra point. It was a 1-point loss, so there goes your tie. They also missed a field goal. What's his name? His name is Andre Schmidt. I think that's how you pronounce it. He might not be the guy. You know? He might not be the guy. I'm so impressed, by the way, that Flacco is a starting quarterback still in the NFL. That's Super Bowl champion Joe Flacco to you guys. The Browns came hard, harder than I expected. It was on brand for AFC North football. Interesting note, the Bengals were the most bet on team to cover the Week 1 spread. They clearly didn't. But the Bengals are on the right path. Nothing better than being 1-0 in the NFL after Week 1. It was an ugly game. I'm not as fearful of the Bengals as I thought I was. The defense did look better, though. I think that was a big question mark, was how good is their defense going to be coming into the season? Obviously, we know last year they were a train wreck. I expected them to be better because how can you replicate such a horrible defensive season and just not improve? Shamar Stewart looked good, lots of pressures. So the Bengals are going to be interesting, but I'm not blown away after a Week 1 game. It was definitely a get-ready game, and more importantly for them to get a Week 1 victory, that is like hallelujah. So let's go to the next game. Rams 14, Texans 9. The Texans are fucked. The O-line is so bad. You don't have a running game. Nick Chubb is unfortunately washed. You got Nico Collins, though, all right? Everyone else is still figuring out who they are. What is the identity of this Texans team? Last year, it seemed like CJ Stroud definitely regressed. The team wasn't as good. Um, what you have to do if you're the Houston Texans is, and it might sound crazy, is you have to give Nico Collins 15 targets a game. Like, that's the only way this team is going to move down the field, put points on the board. CJ Stroud's just never going to have time to throw the ball. Like, you have to acknowledge that. I know this could be like an overreaction for week one. Honestly, I don't think it is. That exposed a lot of the weaknesses that the Houston Texans have. Last season, like I said, huge regression. Something has to change. I just don't. I'm bought out on this Texans team. I think they're an 8 or 9 win team. They're certainly not going to win the division after seeing all the other teams in their division play up to their standards, if not better. I mean, let's get something straight. The Rams didn't even light it up that much. Stafford, yeah, he's still a gunslinger. The back held up. Puka left and came back. He's still at 130 yards. Like, for the amount of yards that the Rams put up, only winning by 5 is weird. And that's a nod to the Texans' defense, which is pretty strong. So this offense really has to dial it in. Wide receiver room took a big hit. I mean, I still like the strategy of give Nico Collins the ball 15 times a game, see what he can do. Shout out to Matthew Stafford, though. He's the 10th quarterback to reach 60,000 yards. I believe he's the second quickest to do it behind Drew Brees. But that's a huge milestone. One of the greats still in the league. Love to see it. Okay, let's move down the line again to our second last game. Packers 27, Lions 13. Wow, this felt like ass to belt from the start. I see people asking, why do we call Gibbs and Monty Sonic and Knuckles when we should be calling them ass and cheeks? Like, the Lions run game looked rough, okay? Losing a guy like Ben Johnson definitely humbles you. They were 5-1 against the Packers when he was there, and now they're 0-1. They have a 100% loss rate after he leaves. So, I mean, it was just an ugly game from beginning to end. The Lions never really seemed to be in it. They didn't really seem like they wanted to be there, if I'm being honest. I think the Packers are a very, very good team. I've been glazing the Packers all off season. I feel like I was the only one like saying watch out for them as well. I think a lot of my friends were like, no, you're crazy, you're out of your mind. Where's your medication? I do have a Super Bowl futures on them. It was placed before the Micah Parsons trade, so I want to get that out in the air. I think the Packers is like head to toe going to be top 3 in the NFL, if not Super Bowl champions. Is that an overreaction for week one? Could be. But man, the defense was so good. They held the Lions to 246 total yards. Micah got his sack. The Packers just dog walked the Lions. I'm not too worried about Detroit. Like, they're definitely going to bounce back. They're definitely going to be a good team. But having 2 new coordinators does take some adjustments. I think the biggest disappointment besides the run game is probably their D-line. They didn't really pressure Jordan Love at all. Jordan Love he looked poised out there. I mean, he shared the ball. He was hitting him in the fucking chest. Like, he knew what he was doing. It was incredible to see. So I'm not going to hold the win too high over the Lions. They're definitely going to get their comeback. But the Packers, I mean, that's how you start a season. Division rival, just piercing them. So yeah, those are the games that we're going to talk to. We'll get to our final game, which pains me to even talk about. Game of the year, though, and we got it in week 1. Can't ask for more. Christmas in September. Who's got it better than us? Bills 41, Ravens 40. Yeah, I mean, I was at a loss for words once the game ended. Didn't really know how to say. Phone was lighting up. You'd think it was like an Amber Alert going on the way it was vibrating. Pause. It was just bad. It was just really bad. I knew the Ravens were going to lose when I tweeted out, "Are the Ravens going to Raven?" Which is code for we're about to fuck shit up, by the way. I got a lot of things on my mind for this game. So, one, I just want to say I'm tired of being gaslit by everybody telling me that the Ravens they have a loaded roster, best team in the NFL, top to bottom. They're a lock for the Super Bowl. Like, how can they not win? They have everything. Like, I watch every game. Like, these false narratives about my team drive me nuts, okay? I fucking hate it. It's a bad loss. I get it. But year in, year out, we're being gaslit. Like, let's not forget, it wasn't until the first half of last season we had the worst pass defense. You think by getting Jair Alexander, who's clearly washed, can't guard anything, is gonna like make this defense any better? Like, we got a couple more pieces, yes, but I'm not like fully sold that this team is like a walking log. Like, we're just gonna roll over everyone. It makes no sense. Okay. Next, I'm not saying we should fire or publicly execute John Harbaugh, but we should fire or publicly execute John Harbaugh. But I'm not saying that. Good thing I didn't say that, okay? This is the 17th double-digit lead that he has blown in his career. Like, at what point do you point to yourself and say you are the problem? Okay? This is the season cycle of John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens, okay? Are you ready? So, all right, I'm going to just restart that. I got to wrap my head around it. The season cycle for the Ravens is we start, then Harbaugh commits domestic terrorism. Then he remembers how to coach, and surprise, it's domestic terrorism again. I don't even think that's an overreaction. That's the cycle of a Ravens season. I'm fed up with John Harbaugh. Like, why are we not going for it on fourth down? Why would you punt the ball? That is like the most brainless move you can do. Like, I get it. You're trying to make a statement. We trust our defense. We were getting carved in the fourth quarter. Josh Allen was walking through us, throwing dimes here and there. He made Keon Coleman, who I think is one of the worst wide receivers I've ever laid my eyes on, look like God. It makes no sense. I will never say a good thing about Keon Coleman, by the way. I'll stand on that take. He is one of the worst wide receivers I have ever seen. There is not a single quality he has that I would ever want any of my receivers to have. But, God, he looked good that day. So, yeah, I don't know why we're not going for it on fourth. Mind you, it's 4th and 2. We need 2 fucking yards. Okay? Our offense was playing incredible. Lamar Jackson was doing his thing. He was looking like he should have won the MVP last year. Derrick Henry was running through motherfuckers' faces. The Bills' defense couldn't stop a kid in a wheelchair. Okay? We had wide receiver 1 and running back 1 after week 1. Why are we not trusting the offense? We need 2 yards. It makes no sense. This is just malpractice by the guys calling the shots. I don't blame the players at all. Yes, Derrick Henry's fumbled, fucked us, okay? I get it. That's when we're going to Raven. But it's still the guys calling the shots that have to be held accountable, okay? And it's been like this for way too long. Zach Orr might need to go to AA. Nobody can convince me that he didn't have liquor before the game started. All right, Todd Monken deep into the fourth quarter. We're getting conservative out of nowhere when the Bills D had no answers for this offense. 0. And also, Roquan, we got to put you on a fast, all right? We got to put you on a week fast. You're looking too big out there. We need you running around hitting motherfuckers. Like, we need you to do this, okay? It's time to wake up. Like, I'm at a loss for words after the game. I've been able to think about it, slept on it. It's hard to not overreact, but also this team could never surprise me. Like, whenever we have bad losses like this, like when we lost to the Raiders last year, I'm never like, oh wow, that's a surprise. That's a real shocker. Like, this team could do anything, and I'd be like, yep, that checks out. This is how like questionable everything is. It just doesn't make sense. And the blame will get put on Lamar by the media, by all the fans of opposing teams, all the Twitter losers. It's going to be real annoying to watch that on the timeline. But if you can't watch that game from start to finish and be like, yeah, Lamar Jackson didn't do enough. He did everything. He did more than everything. All right. The real problem is the guy who's like, oh, let's give it to Josh Allen with over a minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. All he has to do is get into field goal territory when he was already carving the defense late into the fourth quarter. No answers there. I will give credit to Josh Allen. He played great. I mean, when you put the cape on him, a superhero shows up, hands down. But I will say also, this comeback, it's slightly overhyped. It was a 15-point game with like 5 minutes left, a bit over 5 minutes left in the game. That's not even crazy out of the reach. It doesn't matter who's playing, all right? Especially if the Ravens are in it where they can't close a game. Like, that's so much time left. It's 15 points. It's not like out of this world. Everybody on the timeline had a feast. The craziest comeback you'll ever see. It was a good comeback. It was a great ball game, but like, it's the Ravens and they can't close out games. This isn't anything new. So I'm like, it's a little bit overhyped. It was a good ball game. It was a good comeback, but like it's 15 points, 5 minutes left. You know you're going to get the ball back at least one more time, is what it is. Other notes. Bills Mafia, which was once the most loved fan base, has become vultures and have ruined their reputation of being the good guys. Okay, there was a fan who pushed or punched Lamar Jackson and DeAndre Hopkins in the head. This is horseshit. I mean, why is a fan stiff-arming a player? And there was, like, he needs to be stripped of his shoes and dragged out the arena. There was also a fan that threw a water bottle at Derrick Henry's head. Like, is it crazy to say that players shouldn't ever be touched by fans? Case closed. Now, I saw that he did get banned from the Bills Stadium, but I feel like more justice needs to be served. That's just terrible luck. Terrible look for the Bills Mafia. So yeah, not everyone can be 1-0. Teams have to lose. At least we kind of got our loss out the way. On to the next. Good to get the bad loss out early. But I will say it'll be funny to look back on this game as the beginning of the Super Bowl DVD video. I'm still hopeful for the Ravens. I still think we're going to have a great year. That game was fucking incredible. I wish we could have 17 games of Bills-Ravens every week. Like, it would be awesome. So, yeah, that's the program for today. This has been awesome. The team has shrunk. We're doing a solo cast. Hopefully this comes out great. Hopefully you guys return next week, where we'll talk about some games, talk about some things I liked, players I thought did well. It's only going to get better the deeper we get into the season. This is another football show starting on time this season. The future looks bright. Who's got it better than us? Absolutely nobody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your time. And so long until the next time.